Morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. This is Brett Owens from Chrometa, our CEO and co-founder. Going to take you on a spin through the system. We will walk through some of my time entries that I have captured for myself during the course of the last few days. Show you how I'm going to categorize these. First, show you how they were captured. We'll talk about how to then categorize them to the appropriate clients and projects that I want them to go to. And then for those of you using Chrometa in tandem with a third-party billing system, we're going to talk about integrations as well. From the time capture standpoint, we'll talk computer time, so documents, emails, and then we'll do mobile as well, so both iPhone and Android, and we will do phone calls, text messages, and then even email on the mobile device. So a lot of ground to cover. I've got 10 minutes, so I'm happy to also save some time at the end for your questions. So if there's anything else you would like to see, you're welcome to ask a question at any time. If I can field it on the fly, I will. Otherwise, we'll save time around the 10-minute mark, so that, and I'm happy to stay as long as you like to answer any questions that you have. With that, we will go ahead and get rolling, and let's actually look at my timeline for today. This is going to give me a play-by-play of my time entries that have been captured for a given day. Let me actually fast forward this to, okay, today. So now what you're able to see is actually what I've captured for both my computer and my smartphone to date. So still early here on the West Coast, but you can see I've got a mobile phone call early, get into the office 8:20 a.m., and then start working, cranking through email as many of you probably do. So the way that we are capturing this time is we're looking at the activity and then the amount of time spent on each activity. So we're looking at what was the application. So in my case, I'm using Gmail for my email. If you're using Microsoft Outlook, we're going to capture Outlook. From there, we will capture the details associated with that email, and then you can see the duration, the time spent on that activity. So if I flip back to my summary, that's what this is giving me here. So for each email that I've touched so far this morning, I've got the amount of time that I spent on it, subject line of the email, and then also the to and the from, and anyone who was CC'd on it, as you can see, for example, right here. So time spent in this case over on the right-hand side. Same idea for websites that I have visited, and then also Microsoft Word. I've got a Word document here. So any application on your computer, we go minute by minute, and then we roll it up as you see here. Now, how do we categorize this time? So I've got my Word document here. So if it was not automatically matched up with one of our keyword-based rules, we can either manually assign it, or we can also create a keyword-based rule on the fly, so that every time we see a certain word going forward, that type of entry will always be associated to that project. So let me walk you through both cases. So first, if I want to just bucket some time into a project, I'm going to hit the select the entry that I want. You can select multiple entries if you would like to do that. I'm going to hit the move to project drop down, and just going to start typing the name of my project. What that's going to do is we'll auto complete the field so that we've got my project selected. And now what I'm going to do before I click to move it is I'm going to hit the little first shortcut here, the pen, which is an annotate shortcut. What this is going to let me do is annotate the entry as I categorize it to this project. So I'm going to say that I am drafting a document for Kevin. So you can see I've got some autocomplete going on my annotation. So as you create annotations, things of that nature, Chrometa will create those for you, autofill those in. And now I'm going to move these two automatically captured entries down to this client, this matter here. So what we're doing is we're also rounding up the entry. So I've got 3 minutes plus 1 minute equals 4. My rounding setting here is 6 minutes, so we're rounding this up to a 6-minute total. So we're still keeping the original computer time in case you want to move this around or reference it. But as far as my timesheet is concerned, this is now the new entry that I have. So that's how we can, one way to get that time down to our timesheet. Of course, from here, we can then export it if we would like out to a third-party billing system. Clio, Time Matters, got a bunch of options here. I'm going to go through those with you in a couple of minutes. But while we are on the categorization thread, let's talk about a few other ways that we can do that. One option is I could say that anytime I email back and forth with Tanya here, who had a product request, feature request for me, I can say that I want to move that to this project. And I'm going to create a rule so that I do this every time. Okay, so what we're doing here now is we've got a keyword, we've got a little keyword shortcut. So I could say, I can tell Chrometa that anytime I see Tanya's email address, I want to move it to this project. I also want to do this all the time. So for previous times that I have emailed with Tanya, if I haven't already moved it to this project, I'm telling Chrometa I want to move it to this project. I can preview the rule here so that I can take a look and see exactly which entries I'm going to be moving with this rule, so some recent entries that will be affected by it. And then I can hit categorize and create the rule, and then this is going to move Tanya's time. Again, down to my timesheet here, hits it with the rounding setting, and then I can, since I didn't annotate it with the rule, I can create the annotation now. So I can say chatting about a feature request. I guess that would be pretty cool if I could always bill people anytime I got a feature request, but for this purpose, we're just moving it down to my timesheet here just as a little example for you. You can also create rules from scratch from here. So to add a new rule, we can say that I want to, you could, for example, say anytime you're emailing back and forth with me or anyone at Chrometa.com that you want it to always move to a certain client, certain project. So that's a possibility for you here as well. Okay, let's head on. What do we want to do now? Let me also show you the timeline. So I showed you this at the outset. So this is the play-by-play, minute-by-minute of everything that we've done. Now, a lot of times, this is all kind of the same activity for a bunch of consecutive minutes or even hours. So a shortcut way that you can assign this time is I can hit the left click up here. I'm going to hold down the Shift key on my keyboard while I select this time entry. And now, same as I just showed you, move to project, give this the same project. I'm going to give it all the same annotations. I'm going to say this is all the same thing. When I save it now on my summary, it's all been combined. So I've got a bunch of these little entries in here. It hit my rounding setting, so up to the 6 minutes. So now I've got a consecutive 36-minute entry of all that time. So on the timeline then, there's ways that we can sweep that time, either by using the way that I just showed you, or you can also use our little ticker up top. This will select time for you, and then you can hit the group button, kind of like the same thing. This will actually just combine it all into one group, so a different way to look at this as well. Okay, got a couple of minutes here, so let's talk about mobile. So let me go over some of my mobile time entries. So I use our Android app. Our Android app captures my phone calls going to and from, the amount of time I spent on the phone call. So this call with Kevin went almost 2 hours. Text messages. So our text messages will get a default durations, and you can set that. So if you want to set that at 1 minute or 2 minutes per text message. We do sync up with the Google Contacts, as you can see. So we've got the contact names within here. We also will do on Android, we have the ability to do mobile time on email as well. If you want to hook us up with your Gmail, that's a possibility also. For iPhone, as always, a little more challenging working with Apple, of course, but we do have ways that you can import your iPhone time for Verizon, AT&T, Sprint, or Vodafone, and we can actually pull your call logs in to get your phone calls and text messages here. All right. What do we want to, let's wrap up talking about integration. So I kind of showed you as I get my time for my unbilled time done in my timesheet here, I can now export it out to a third-party system. Let me give you the current list of the systems that we integrate with, also give you a heads up on what's coming. So these are the practice management tools, kind of the major ones. Also coming soon is Cosmolex, will be next out, hopefully in September. On the accounting side, we've got QuickBooks Online, FreshBooks, and Xero. And then in the project management world, Basecamp, and you'll be seeing Smartsheet here as well coming soon. So we've got Smartsheet there also. And then always some other ones on the way. So one coming up with Harvest also. So just stay tuned as we get announcements out on that. So I'll leave it with a couple of items And then I'm happy to get into questions. So if you have any questions, this is a good time to type them in. We'll get to those in a minute here. To add Chrometa to an additional device, you can use our little downloads here. I will throw this in the chat window. This lets you add Chrometa on an additional device. So if you want to hook up your phone, as I have, or an extra computer, or similar, you can do that right here. To contact us, phone, email, and live chat available 6 days a week. So starting on Sunday, going through Friday, and including holidays as well. So you can contact us here. Live chat lower right on the website, and then lower right within the application. Looks like that's we're good for questions. So you will be getting a recording of this demo, so you're happy to watch it. Welcome to watch it again, but please contact us, contact me, let me know if we can help with anything, help you get started. And also, almost forgot, we do offer complimentary one-on-one training as well, so if you're interested in signing up for a follow-up, you can use this link here to schedule a one-on-one session with one of our trainers. We'll take a little more time with you, go into a little more detail than here. This purpose here is kind of give you the overview, some quick hit shortcuts and such. So hopefully that will be helpful for you as well. Otherwise, I thank you for joining. Hope it was helpful, and everyone have a good rest of your Thursday here. Stay in touch and hope to talk to you soon.